99 Nights in the Forest has become very popular. It's quite fun, but did you know that it hides many dark secrets? But before we start with the story, please remember to subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new videos I post. Well, when you enter the game, a message appears that says, "This game is based on a true story. Some details have been changed." Yes, that's the first thing you see. And then 4 images appear. The first one says there were reports of a deer standing on 2 legs in an unnatural way in the forest. The following week, 4 kids went missing. It was clear that something very wrong was happening in those woods. After the police couldn't find any clues about the missing children, the forest was closed to the public. You have 99 days to uncover the forest's mysteries and figure out what's going on. And yes, here's the park. It's completely shut down. There's even a warning sign talking again about the disappearances. In the game, you have to survive 99 nights in the forest while fighting angry cultists, searching for food, and hiding from the terrifying deer monster, all while trying to discover the truth about the forest and find the missing kids. The game is fun and all, but what really caught my attention is that it's based on a real story. So I started digging into it, and what I found was crazy. Because yes, there were people who actually disappeared in the forest. It's a pretty intense story, but before we get into that, we need to talk about the scary deer creature in the game. This deer-like being is the main villain in the Roblox game, but it's actually based on the myth of the Wendigo. If you don't know what a Wendigo is, it's basically a creature that's half deer and half human. Many people believe this creature can possess humans, and several claim to have seen it. Those who say they saw it describe it as a large beast standing on 2 legs. Even today, many people think the Wendigo is real. A long time ago, several indigenous groups in North America also talked about it. For many, the Wendigo wasn't just a monster, it was a spiritual idea. It represented a person consumed by greed, cannibalism, and the loss of humanity. This creature symbolized what happens when someone is overtaken by hunger or selfishness. We'll talk about that too, because the cultists in the game have their own dark secrets. In some traditions, people believed Wendigos were created from humans who turned to cannibalism to survive. And that leads us to the other villains in the game, the Cultists. The Cultists are the only hostile humans in the game. They attack the player every 3 nights. And something you'll notice is that they all wear deer antlers, which shows that they worship the deer creature from the game. But there's more. They're not just worshipping the Wendigo, they're going through something called Wendigo psychosis, when a person starts craving human flesh. Yes, this is a condition that appears in many old stories. Some people believed it happened because the person was turning into a Wendigo. If someone showed signs of this psychosis, others would try to cure them, but if nothing worked and the person became a danger, they had to be executed. So all the cultists in the game would be people suffering from Wendigo psychosis. Yes, they worship the Wendigo, but they also attack the player because they are hungry and desperate for flesh. Many people think the idea of the cultist was also inspired by another game called The Forest, where you must survive in the wild while facing cannibals hiding around the area. In that game, a lot of players compare the island where everything happens to the real-life North Sentinel Islands. What's crazy about that island is that an indigenous tribe lives there, and it's believed they've been isolated for more than 60,000 years, with no contact with the outside world. Even today, they still use spears and arrows to attack helicopters or boats that get too close. It's estimated that between 50 and 150 people live on the island, but no one knows for sure because every time someone tries to approach, they get attacked. Now, going back to the Roblox game and the 4 missing people. Is it really based on a true story? Yes, it is. The story says that on June 9, 2023, there was a plane carrying 7 people, including a woman and her 4 children. Sadly, shortly after takeoff, the plane crashed, and the only survivors were the 4 kids who were left completely alone in the Amazon jungle. The ages of the 4 children were 13, 9, 4, and an 11-month-old baby. They all had to survive in the jungle for almost 40 days. The article explains that the kids kept moving from place to place every few days and hid inside tree trunks to protect themselves from the rain. One time, they even had to chase away a poisonous snake. Meanwhile, after the plane wreck was found, the army started Operation Hope, a mission to find the missing children in the massive Amazon rainforest. Thankfully, after 40 days, the 4 kids were rescued. What's interesting is that once they were in the hospital, one of the kids drew a picture of a dog sitting under a tree next to a river. That drawing was based on a dog the children found, which stayed with them for several days before disappearing back into the jungle. The article says the kids felt the dog protected them from the dangers of the Amazon. And when the soldiers saw the drawing, they thought it looked like Wilson, a search and rescue dog that had gone missing. So it's very possible that this dog protected the children in their final days. There are also theories that the kids may have imagined the dog, since hunger and exhaustion can cause confusion. But I like to believe the dog was real and stayed with them to help them. In the end, all the children were found, safe, and that's similar to what you have to do in 99 Nights, where you must find the 4 kids one by one while surviving the dangers of the forest. So yes, the game takes several elements from real life. The 4 people who went missing in a forest, the rescue mission, and even though the deer monster and the cultists didn't exist in the real story, they are inspired by real situations, beliefs, or traditions. Now we know what 99 Nights is based on, but what's the story inside the game? Everything begins with the news about the 4 missing children, probably taken by the deer creature. Your mission is to go and rescue them. When you set up your camp, you notice a strange deer. It's standing on 2 legs, staring at you and waiting. But it's not alone. It has followers called cultists. During the nights, you have to survive the deer and the cultists while searching for the kids. One by one, you can rescue them from an underground facility. The first child is guarded by wolves. The second is guarded by alpha wolves. The third by bears. And the fourth by alpha bears. When you save all 4 kids, you've basically beaten the game. But that still doesn't explain where the cultists came from or what that Wendigo-like creature really is. Is it actually a Wendigo? No, it isn't. There's a place where the cultists appear, and if you look closely, it looks like a destroyed research lab. If you search deeper, you'll find a table with straps, suggesting that scientists were doing experiments there, possibly on the deer. Those experiments could have made it grow, stand on 2 legs, and turn into the creature we now see as a Wendigo. Because of the mutation, it managed to escape the lab and cause chaos, killing many of the scientists. But some of those scientists began to worship the deer, creating places of worship, and the deer decided to spare them. But what does it actually want? Why does it attack the player? I think it simply wants you to leave. After everything the scientists did to it, it no longer trusts humans. It only accepts those who fully devote themselves to it. That's why there's no final boss fight against the deer. It doesn't want to kill you, it just wants to push you out of the forest. And what did it want with the children? Just like the scientists experimented on it, it seems the deer started doing its own experiments, letting the children be raised by wild animals. And yes, there have been real-life cases of kids raised in the wild. In a way, it would be the deer's revenge, doing to humans what humans once did to it. But well, that's just a theory. And remember, if you don't want to miss any new videos we post, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out.